Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome back. Got like a 3-in-1 video for you guys today. Gonna be playing with carbon fiber, fiberglass, and epoxy. I've got this little 13-inch hydroplane that I need to actually fill out my hatch. Okay, the hatch is too small or the hole for the boat's too big. One of the two. So I'm actually gonna make a little bit larger hatch. I figured this would help somebody out there. Okay, I made me a little mold. Okay, and we're gonna do that. I'm actually going to cut this piece of carbon fiber in half. We're going to lay out a carbon fiber panel, okay? And I've got my drag boat hatch, which I actually recorded, epoxy in this hatch, and I'll show you guys how I'm going to pull it apart. This is just a piece of wood that I've epoxied and got like a curved shape for my drag boat. And I was like, I needed a second hatch. Got this motor that I built for my drag boat, and I need a hatch for the motor and a hatch to run the boat with. So I prepped up this hatch, and I'll walk you through it here in a minute. I laid out some carbon fiber. We're going to pull it here in just a few minutes for you guys. Overnight for me, but stick around. Going to be a 3-in-1 video. When I break out epoxy, I like to break it out for several, especially little projects. I'll find 2 or 3 little projects that I need to work on, like this one right here. I got some little areas that I'm going to use some of my epoxy I got mixed up to fill in, okay? But what I did was I actually took some balsa wood, alright, some stripped out balsa wood, and basically super glued the balsa wood together on the top of this hydroplane. Okay, so the inside diameter is the exact same outside diameter as the hull hatch opening. Okay, right here. What I'm going to do, I actually super glued that onto the glass. I use these little supports to keep the shape of the balsa. What I'm going to do is actually put my hatch in there, okay, and epoxy around the hatch. I'm going to put some carbon fiber in it and some fiberglass to make it nice and hard, okay, so it don't break off because it's the outside profile of this hatch. I've already prepped it up, sanded around it so we get a nice surface to bond to. What I'm trying to do now is I just kind of got my hatch on my boat dead center so it's like straight with the boat because there's a lot of play right here. You guys see that? So I'm actually just kind of eyeing where I need to place the hatch inside my mold, or where it needs to be once I get all the epoxy and fiberglass in there, okay? So I got my epoxy mixed up with fiberglass, okay? I made it real thick and like dry, okay? I'm going to go around the edge of this. Hopefully it works. I've never done this before. So far, it's doing what I wanted it to do. I put it in there first, and now I'm going to compact it around it. I'm actually going to fill in some of the height on this side, but it's actually working pretty good. Pretty good. We'll see when it's all done. Hopefully I get a good bond. Yeah, I think it's turning out pretty good. I got that carbon fiberglass mix all the way around it, and I used my brush and my finger and a stick, and I kind of just pushed it in that gap, okay, and I tried to get it as even as I could. I think it's gonna work because when we pop this off this glass, the balsa wood, everything should come with it. The balsa sands off easy, and then I'll profile the shape to fit in my boat. I think it's going to work. It might be a couple little air bubbles I have to work on and put some epoxy on, but like I said, I've never done it, and it's just kind of a harebrained idea I had, trying to be lazy. I think it's going to work. So now we're actually going to pull a carbon fiber panel off of this glass. Okay, so you know, we're basically going to make this. You know, this is a store-bought one, you know, and probably ours isn't going to be that thick. But having a piece of carbon fiber panel around, fiberglass panels, I use them all the time in boat building, you know. And this is an easy way to do it, okay. On glass, I usually just use turtle wax. Just a little bit of turtle wax, and I wax the glass. Okay, that's all I do. I actually just waxed it, but I'm going to do it again. So there's actually two coats of wax on here, okay. Pulled carbon fiberglass parts off of glass without even waxing it. You know what I'm saying? So this is an easy way to make your little panel, you know, or like in this instance, you need something that the carbon fiber epoxy doesn't stick to. Glass is perfect. You got a flat surface to work on. So I'm just going to wipe 80% of this off, you know. I'm going to leave a little haze on there. The smoother you get the glass, the nicer the panel will come out on the bottom. If you wanted to take it even further, or if you're pulling a part, which is the carbon fiber, from a mold, which is in this case is my hatch, a makeshift mold, you're going to need some PVA, polyvinyl alcohol. There's several companies that sell it. It's like $30 for this pint or whatever. And I got this from Epoxy World on eBay, and it's a release agent. It's all it is. It's basically liquid plastic melted down in alcohol, and you spray it with a cup gun with your air compressor. Spray a thin coat, mist it, wait 15 minutes, spray another coat. I usually use I use 5 coats on this that I just brushed on my part, and it works really good. If you're like a boat builder, like a builder, you build boats, you guys probably need to pick up some of this if you're into epoxy and fiberglass and carbon fiber deal. You know, this stuff right here come in handy more ways than one. When I cut this carbon fiber, one of my subscribers mentioned to use tape to tape it up, and I used it when I made this. I just taped the edges so the carbon fiber don't fray up, and it worked great. Once you wet out the carbon fiber, the tape will loosen up. You can pull it right off without messing up any of the hairs. So I'm going to do it for you. This is just some pinstriping tape that I got for my drag boat painting. I'm about to start that. Working on it right now, actually. I'm just going to tape off half of this. I'm just going to try to make 2 identical squares. All I did was I took my razor knife and cut right down it. Cut that carbon fiber in half. Okay, and now you have 2 pieces that you don't have to worry about pulling the hair, fraying the edges of the carbon fiber like I just freaking did. Tape stuck to the table. So that's what happens if you don't use the tape. Okay, I actually stuck it to the table, but it works, you guys. Once that gets wet, you can pull it off. Okay, so we got our wax glass, and we'll mix them up some epoxy, and we're going to epoxy these onto the glass. So I mixed up 6 grams of epoxy. Alright, that should be enough for these 6x6 squares of carbon fiber. Alright, we waxed our glass. Now I'm just going to wet out the glass real quick. You know, get something down here, some epoxy down so our carbon fiber sticks to it. I'm going to wet it out. So I'm actually noticing if you grab your tape like a quarter of the way you're running, don't grab it at the very end. Grab it a couple of inches away from the end. Make sure you don't pull up any hairs with it. And it's been pulling off pretty good. Make sure there's no hairs on there. Oh, I got a hair on mine. Maybe not. And then go in behind it and pull the tape as you brush it. You know, and it actually does pretty freaking good keeping the weave together. I like that trick. Oh, I wish I remember who told me that, because that's a big big shout out. Whoever that was, big shout out to you, man. That freaking worked. Alright, so I'm going to let this cure out. Okay, I'm making sure my edges are wetted out. Whenever I make panels, I always notice that my edges are always real thin and I have to cut quite a bit off. I'll probably only get like a little 4x4 panel out of this, and then I can use the extras for odd and end projects. You know, I usually keep the cutoffs if it's a decent sized piece. It comes in handy. So hopefully this turns out pretty good. I'm excited to see how this does, my little hatch here, you know. And I guess we'll pull everything off in the morning. You know, I got it all packed in. Oh, I hope that turns out good. Jeez. So I used the PVA, polyvinyl alcohol, on my hatch. And I just kind of put a couple pieces of wood widthwise so it stays flat that way. And I've got a bend already, so I'm going to just carbon fiber it. Alright, so it's actually the next day. Everything's secured out, set up. Okay, the carbon fiber is nice and hard. Alright, gave this a full 24 hours. This is about, I would say, 18-hour cure time. That should be fine. Okay, this is 2 layers, just like we did our carbon fiber panel. I wanted a thin panel for this build right here. Plus, I needed a couple little pieces for my UL19 to hold my carbon fiber cooling lines in place. Okay, here's our hatch. It's kind of what it looked like. Alright, we really won't know what it looks like till we sand off the balsa wood. You know, I doubt that's going to pull off because epoxy was in full contact with it, you know. But it actually looks pretty good. I actually cleaned up the hatch nice, so I didn't have a lot of sanding to do, cleaning up to do with sandpaper. And I think it's going to come out pretty good, you know. Maybe this will help you guys out. Here's a shot of it on the bottom. So we'll have a lot of grinding to do, you know, which I needed. I would have had grinding to do anyway because I had to cut the old lip off for our new outside edge lip. And this is ready to go. So I actually got a scraper here and a few popsicle sticks. Once I loosen up my carbon fiber from my mold or my flat surface, I can slide a popsicle stick in there and kind of keep my progress. Okay, so let's see what it looks like. All right, oh yeah, almost forgot. I want to go ahead and mark out around this hatch. This is a chrome marker. That way I'll know where to cut at, you know. I won't be lost. Okay, just going to kind of go around it. And I just taped the bottom of the hatch. This is epoxied wood, you know. You'll see. I just taped the bottom. And then I super glued these sticks on there because this hatch actually was like rolled. It was like rolling up. So I super glued these sticks down. Hopefully everything comes apart pretty good. All right. I think I got some super glue behind the tape on the ends. So we'll see. So, oh, it's already releasing. So I'll put my scraper in there. Okay. Shit, I don't even think I need the popsicle sticks, but you know, if you were releasing from a mold or something, you would use little wedges for this, you know, kind of go around the edge with a piece of wood, something that's not going to scratch up. Ooh, I just got a carbon fiber splinter. Oh, that sucks. Got to be careful for the edge of this carbon fiber. It'll get you. Oh, it released nicely. Okay, so let's check it out. Nice. So you can see the mold release. That's what I made my hatch from, my old hatch, and you can see the impression here. Okay, looks good. It actually looks pretty good. And then with this PVA, this mold release, you just peel it off. All right, peel it off, and then what's left, you just rinse it off with water. You know, I'm not quite ready to get the hatch wet. I want to give it another day or so to dry and cure out. But wow, that turned out really nice. That turned out pretty nice. That's going to be my hatch for my drag boat. But I wanted a lightweight hatch, and I got it. Alright, I probably should have put another... Actually, I probably should have put the third layer on there. But I got a lightweight hatch. It's significantly lighter than this piece of wood. Alright, so I'll show you what I did here. Oh yeah, I did get super glue on the tape here. So I just taped up the bottom so I wouldn't have a bunch of epoxy everywhere. I actually cracked this hatch right here. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to make a carbon fiber hatch. But yeah, that's good to go. Good to go. So I got 2 hatches now. Boom, boom. Let's see if we can get this stuff up. Alright, let's go ahead and get this hatch off of here. I had super glued the frame down, you know, so that might be kind of hard to get up because I super glued that wood onto the glass. Okay, my popsicle sticks all the way around it. Like I said, you can use a wedge. Nice, come right up. You guys see that? Perfect, perfect. So I'll just clean up all that inside stuff, lighten it up, shape it up. Okay, I'm actually gonna take this out into the shop. I'm gonna grind it down, and then I'll bring it back. I'll show you what it looks like. We'll see if there's any air bubbles in it. I don't think there is because the bottom's pretty solid. I packed it in there pretty good. Okay, now let's do the panel, the carbon fiber panel. This is an extremely light and thin panel. I need it for a couple small projects. Okay, if you wanted a thicker panel, something like this, you're gonna have to go probably 4 or 5 coats. You know, wow, that's pretty stiff. That's pretty stiff for as thin as it is. That's pretty freaking stiff. Wow. Oh, I'm actually impressed. Man, carbon fiberglass wouldn't have been that stiff, you know. So yeah, that's gonna be perfect. Probably use it a lot in this build right here, you know. Nice, nice. That's awesome. That's freaking awesome. So I'm gonna get some of this stuff cleaned up. I'll show you what it looks like when I'm all done. I'm just gonna kind of grind off some of this bad areas, you know. So I just got back from the shop, you guys. Just got back from the shop. I got my hatches all shaped up and fitted on the boats. I'll show you that in a second. I got the outside edges cut off of this carbon fiber, and it's actually bigger than I thought it would be. If it was fiberglass, I wouldn't have got such a big piece, you know, but this carbon fiber, it lays out on that sheet, and you just really got to cut the freaking the frayed edges off, and it's actually pretty stout for a little thin piece of carbon fiber, which is going to be perfect for making parts for this boat. Speaking of the little hydroplane, the hatch turned out really good. All right, got it profiled on a play right here. You guys see that? I got it fit in the boat nicely. All right, it's a tedious project, sanding it and fitting it. I didn't video it, but just take your time if you gotta do it. Wear PPE. You guys are grown. You should know to wear PPE when you're working with this stuff. I shouldn't have to tell you guys that. But yeah, it turned out good. I got a couple little air pockets that I need to fill, which very few and far between. You know, it fits like a glove. I gotta finish profiling this boat. It's actually almost ready for paint. I mean, it's literally almost ready. I got the ride surfaces ready. When I had my epoxy out, I did a couple little spots like here and there, you know, where I needed to fill some areas, but she's almost ready. Look at this. It fits in this boat. The angle fits to a T. Granted, I gotta do a little bit more sanding on the edges to get it right, but it worked perfect, man. That process worked perfect. Wax, PVA, you know, and I didn't even have to make like a fancy mold or nothing. It was just a simple layup, and it worked. All right. I got all my ride surfaces sanded and prepped up on this thing. Everything's like, the angles on my ride surface are good down to the degree. Every single one of those ride pads is perfect. Width and length, angle, the whole nine. So she's ready, man. About to paint it. I'm about to paint it. And of course I go out to prime my boat. You know, I got my hatch primed. That's 1 coat of primer. Oh man. Well, actually 2 mists, 1 coat. It turned out good. The motor, the block with the blower, that turned out freaking boss. I got the other hatch out in the paint booth. Okay, oh, I forgot to do those, so I gotta take those out and do them here in a minute. And I was about to spray this boat, like I was just saying. I had everything freaking finished, and I was like, I had all the carbon fiber out, and I got thinking, the back of these sponsons right here, you know, it was just a piece of wood and it might break. Like, I had a lot of issues with my Tiny Titan, those winglets right there breaking, you know. So I carbon fibered that, you know. Actually, it's carbon Kevlar and carbon fiber. So I'm gonna sand all that off and prep it up for paint, you know. And I actually did the transom back here. Now it's strong. All right, so I'm gonna let you guys go. This carbon fiber, it works with fiberglass cloth, fiberglass resin, or epoxy resin. Carbon fiber, epoxy, blah blah blah. It works, okay. And the little hatch method, that was on point. Literally, like, that right there is a lifesaver. And I've come across so many boats with bad fitting hatches, and that's like a pet peeve of mine. I've hatched that don't fit a boat right, but that's a good way to fill it in, okay. I actually had some resin left over that I filled in some of the little air pockets like I showed you earlier. So I'm gonna let you guys go, man. Oh, I'm getting really excited now. I made my order for all the electronics. Everything's coming in for the drag boat this week. We're gonna get paint done this week, start installing electronics and stuff next week. Oh, I'm getting excited. So I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully you guys like the 3-in-1 video. Thanks for watching.